All right, this is F2, estimating positive square roots. So before we begin, I'm gonna list out what a square and a square root is. So let's start with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if we take the number 1 squared, that just means 1 times 1. So we get 1. 2 squared is 2 times 2, so 4. 3 squared is 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. And then 7 squared is 49. And if we go 8, 9, 10, 8 squared is 8 times 8, so 64. 9 squared is 81. And 10 squared is 100. All right, so if we're going to estimate positive square roots, then this first example has the square root of 98. Okay, so square root is actually the opposite of a square. So if we take a look at these numbers, 98 is between these two numbers here. Okay, but we can see that 98 is closer to 100 than it is to 81. So it's really close to 100. So our estimation should be really close to the number 10, because 98 is really close to the number 100. Okay, so looking at our answers, we got 9.8 is pretty close to 10. We can't go over 10. No. 8.7 is actually less than 9. So this square will be less than 81. 8.7 squared will be less than 81. 9.3 may be a little close, but I think 9.8 is probably our answer. And then, like, originally when you're first practicing it, you might pull up a calculator and hit the square, okay? So let's test out that answer, 9.8. And the square on most calculators is the x2 button, or x to the or the variable x with an exponent of 2. So you can do 9.8 times 9.8, or just hit square button, and this equals 96.04. So it's not 98, but it's really close to 98. And you can probably tell that it's going to be closer to 9.3 squared, because 9.3 is going to be less than that. Okay, so 9.8 is really close. Let's submit that. All right, excellent. I'm going to erase this circle that I just drew. And now our next problem is 54. Okay, so we're going to find the square root of 54. And we look at our list right here. 54 is in between 54, so it's right in between 7 here and 8 there. Okay, because 54 is between 49, so it's going to be between 49 and 64. So where is that 54 closer to? 54 is, it's going to be closer to 46 because it's only, 54 is only 5 away, right? It's 5 more than 46. So it's plus 5 here. But if we go to 64, that's going to be plus 10. So we need 10 more to get to 64. So it's going to be closer to 46. So it's going to be 7. It's going to be closer to 7. And if we have a number line between 49 and 64, 54 is going to actually be the first third. Because from here to there is 5. And we're going to go 5 more. And then 5 more. Okay, that's a little messy because my screen's a little small. But 54 is actually the first third. So if we look at a third, 7 and 1/3 more, it's going to be really close to 7.3, okay? So it's closer to 7. This is closer to 8, that one's closer to 8, and this one's more than 8, so this one's going to be more than 64. So 54 is closer to 7, and that's going to be our answer there. Okay. I'm actually going to clear the mess now. And this is just another way of looking at the problem. We got 43 between which two integers? So square root of 43. So if we think about our squares, let's just guess 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25. I'm not going to do all of them. 6 squared is 36. Okay, that's pretty close. And 7 squared is 49. Okay, and if our target number is 43, I think 43, it's a 6 away from 49. So we need 6. But it's 7 away from there. So it's almost right in the middle. Okay, so the number in the middle between 6 and 7 is going to be close to 6.5. Okay, but we don't even need to know that for this problem. We just need to know which two integers. So it's going to be between 6 and 7. So our choice right here is between 6 and 7. And if we want to get a little bit more specific, it's pretty close to 6.5, okay? But 6 and 7 are going to be our answer there. Right? And I remember 8th graders from years past, they had trouble with this because a lot of this was like very abstract thinking. So you're going to use multiplication skills. We have 97 here. And if we look at the number 8, 8 squared, 8 times 8 is 64. 9 times 9 is 81. And 10 times 10 is 100. 97 is really close to 100, but a little less. So our answer is going to be really close to 10, but a little less. So let's choose 9.8 there and submit that. All right, so a lot of estimation stuff, which makes it tricky, but we want to think about this logically. All right, I'm going to jump to a higher level, more challenging problems. Apparently, they're more challenging. Oh, well, this one's challenging because it's a bigger number. Well, now we have the square root of 128. I know 10 times 10 is 100. What's 11 times 11? And this is where a calculator is helpful because I haven't used a calculator yet on this assignment. So let's do 11 squared, or type in 11 times 11, and that equals 121. Well, that is pretty close to 128. Okay, now let's go one number up. So 12 times 12, 12 squared. I hit 12 and the square button is 144. All right, and our target number here is the square root of 128. So 128 is 7 away from 121. And if I do 144 minus 128, then that difference is 16 away from 144. So it's closer to 11 because it's only 7 away. We need a number closer to 11 than it is to 12. So 11.3 is close to 11, and it's not more than 12 for sure. And if we look at this answer choice right here, I can see that 10.9 is really close to 11, but it's less than 11. And our number is not less than 121, okay? So it will only be 10.9 if it was actually less than 121, but it's not. So it's going to be more than 11, but really close to 11. All right. So I notice I do a lot more talking in this because it's a lot more thinking stuff than actually just doing an algorithm. All right. Ooh, this one looks tricky, and this is the types of problems that you'll see when you reach a grade of a letter A. Okay, so 80% or higher is an A. Now let's see. Complete the following statements. Use the integers. So we're going to look for the whole numbers that are closest to this number in the middle. So our number is 162. Our previous problem, we did 12 squared was 144. So let's see what 13 squared is. 13 squared, and let's pull up that calculator. 13 squared, 13 times 13 is 169. Oh, wait. Is that seriously 169? That is 169. And our number is 162. 162 is between those two numbers. So our integers are between 12 and 13. That was pretty quick. We are between 12 and 13. Now, the reason why this was quick was you got to practice some of your memory stuff. Where last problem we did 12 squared, and 12 squared was 144. So once you start remembering some of these common squares, it helps speed things up, okay? So this should be correct. Let's submit that, and it is. All right. 193, I think this will be our last example because all the rest of the problems are similar. We could get to an A plus if we keep going, but 193. So I'm just gonna guess. How about let's try. Maybe we did 12 and 13. So let's do 14 square. Let's see what 14 square is. 14 times 14 is 190. Ooh, that's a little too high. 196. And then let's back up a little and let's do 13 square. 13 times 13 is 169. Oh, I should have remembered that from last problem. And we can see that 196 is between that. So our integers are going to be between 13 and 14. So 13 and 14, okay? And so I could keep on with more examples, but I think you get the hang of it. It requires a lot of practice. And then, sorry, I'm going to do this one right here because this one's interesting. It's not finding integers anymore. It's 129. So let's see here. I remember 10 square is 100. 10 times 10 is 100. 11 square. What would that be? Oops. 11 square. 11 times 11 is 121. Okay, so we need 129, so we're not there yet. 12 square. 12 times 12 is 144. 129 is between these two numbers, so our answer is going to be between these two integers, 11 and 12. Okay, now 129 is 8 away from 121, and if I subtract 144 minus 129, it's a 15 away from 144. So it's going to be closer to 11 because it's closer to 121. So a number that's closer to 11 but more than 11. So 11.3 is closer to 11. This 10.6 is less than 11. So I'm going to say that can't be it. This is more than 12, so that can't be it. And this is closer to 12, so that can't be it. So here we go. Use some reasoning skills, and that should be correct. Okay, I'm going to end this video, otherwise this video will be way too long. Hopefully you haven't watched all of it because it's really repetitive. Okay, sometimes it's good to see a lot of examples. Sometimes it's good to focus in on just a few and then practice it. But anyways, you don't have to watch the whole video. You never have to. But watch what you need. And good luck on this assignment, F2, estimating positive square roots.